What's up, folks? We're gonna tie a Spey fly. It's called Cleaver's Canary. It's very yellow, and it's great in shallow water in the summer when fish are really moving. They're more active. It grabs their attention. I especially like it in riffles on shallower rivers like the Madison. This fly kills it on the Madison. But yeah, we're gonna tie it. It's super easy. It's a really effective fly, and you know, sometimes trout just want some yellow or chartreuse. I don't know what it is, but the streamer guys know. Sometimes they just want something bright. So let's crank one out. Okay, so first we're just gonna start our thread here. Nothing crazy there. Work back to the back of here, and when you're tying intruders, you can put tape or something over this if you're worried about sticking yourself. But I just try to watch out for it, and you're just gonna stick yourself every now and again. It's just kind of how it goes. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that light colored dubbing. Just noodle it up. This is nothing fancy. A little too much there. There's nothing fancy. All we're doing here is just creating a small little ball of hackle that's gonna act as a prop. So this is just gonna prop up, sorry, not ball of hackle, ball of dubbing that's gonna act as a prop for the hackle. So that's all this is doing. So it's a little hackle dam. Take this feather, one of those chartreuse feathers. It doesn't need to be like super C. This one's even got a couple broken tips. Doesn't matter. Strip off the fluff at the bottom, and you're gonna take just one wrap, just one, of this feather. Yeah, just hit it with one wrap here. You're gonna kind of watch as it comes around, so get some even distribution. Try not to trap your hackles when you wrap them. That doesn't look great, but honestly, it probably wouldn't matter. Hold it with your finger, come around and see I've got nice, even distribution. Trim out this guy and save this, because we're gonna use this for the front hackle as well. Pull them back, wrap it so they kind of snug up against your hackle dam there, and see how it kind of props it up. Perfect. Now you're gonna grab more of that light colored dubbing for the body, and you're gonna dub, I don't know, 2/3 the way up the fly. You don't want to dub all the way up the fly because you need some room for everything else, of course. If you dub all the way up the fly, then you have to wrap over your dubbing, and it just gets crazy, and it's just kind of a mess. So now definitely remember to pull and, oh, I almost cut my thread there. Pull and stretch your dubbing. Pull and twist your dubbing as you wrap it. And what this is going to do is it's just going to keep it nice and tight, so it's not coming undone. And I like this dubbing. It's got like this cool variegated look to it. Okay, there we go. See, I'm about 2/3 up. You can add more or less depending on where you're at. And now that body's also going to act as our second hackle prop for the same hackle. And you're probably thinking, well, now when you tie this hackle, it's going to be smaller than the back because it's the top of the feather. And you're right. And that's exactly what we want. So we use one wrap at the back. We're going to use actually 2 wraps at the front, and this just gives it more of a fuller thorax kind of look. And with these trout Spey flies, I like the back to be a little bit longer just to kind of give it some movement. And the front, I like to be a little bit shorter and thicker of a hackling job. That's why I use 2 wraps, and I do that because it helps prop up the marabou. And you just pull that out of there. 2 wraps, pull it out of there, wrap over the butt ends, kind of clean it up, make it look nice. Doesn't have to look perfect, but kind of clean it up. And, you can take a break here and take a sip of an energy drink. That part's super important, don't forget that. Now we're going to take that marabou we're talking about. Normally this is marabou you'd probably throw away. Strip off the bottom. Jeez, I didn't want it to break, but that'll work. This is pretty short, fluffy marabou. For most Spey flies, you probably wouldn't want this. But for these small trout Spey flies that are tied in this kind of shorter, stouter fashion. Actually, I almost forgot. Rubber leg. Tie in one rubber leg. You can tie it mostly on top of the hook, but kind of like almost quartering. So not quite on the sides, but not quite on the top of the hook. See, I just bend it over. So I tie it in once and I just bend it over, and then I kind of wrap it back. And that's just gonna give us almost, just like dangle. It's that classic kind of Spey, trout Spey type fly look where the legs are kind of hanging off the back. And then you're gonna pull them back and cut them about where the hook is, maybe just a little longer than where the hook's at. And these just kind of dangle off the back to give it some movement. Also, they just look cool. I love Spey flies that have single rubber legs off the back. I think they're really cool. So now we're gonna go in with our marabou. So jump the gun a little bit, but now we're ready. Couple wraps, tight in at the tip, break the tip off. Now you're just gonna wrap it like it's hackle. And this is, you kind of have to be careful because you tied it in by the tip. So it's gonna be really fragile. You don't want to trap these stems in here. So you're just gonna kind of stroke it back as you wrap. And make sure you're just taking good care of it. And normally in trout Spey, you want a very sparse marabou color. This is just kind of fluffier marabou. So we only did like 3 wraps here. And it gives us, this is perfect. This is not too sparse. This is not too heavy. This fly ends up looking a little denser when it's dry because of the marabou and the materials used. But it really slims down when it's wet. And I'll try to take some videos of it in the water, in the fly tester. Take a razor here and just kind of nip that guy out of there nice and close. And we're almost done here. See how I wrap back over that marabou just a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's covering the really fine stems. So I'm wrapping over the stems so that it's not super fragile. And also I need to put my head / collar of my fly on. So create a dubbing loop with your thread. Super simple stuff. I use this Stonfo dubbing spinner because it's awesome, but there's a lot of cool dubbing spinners, or you can just use like hackle pliers or something. Grab that yellow curly ice dubbing. You're gonna pull it to align the fibers. Give it a couple little pulls and try to get them all kind of stacked up so it'll spin nicely for you. Throw it in your dubbing loop here. Just like so. You're gonna kind of pull it out and spread it along here. You don't want it all in one clump. You want it to be spread out. So space it out here. Give it a spin. And honestly, a couple of those marabou fibers will probably get trapped. Maybe they won't this time, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, there goes one. You'll just wrap it into the collar. It literally doesn't matter. So spin it up. Then you're gonna take, oh geez, this dubbing brush is kind of dirty. Whatever. Got a bunch of dubbing on it. You take a dubbing brush. Velcro is my favorite actually. This one's a little gentler, but I would rather use Velcro to really tease it out of there. And just brush it so the fibers are free. Pull that marabou. If there's any stragglers, kind of pull that marabou back. And then this is super simple. I'm just gonna wrap. I call it the thorax, but really it's probably like a collar. And a lot of guys will figure 8 around those dumbbell eyes. When I tie trout Spey flies, I almost never do anything around the dumbbell eyes. I just think it's unnecessary. I think it overcomplicates the fly. And I also kind of like the look of just having it stop at the dumbbell eyes. You can wrap right up to the dumbbell eyes. You're gonna capture your thread. Several wraps to secure that dubbing loop. You can see it gives us like a nice little flashy head. Sleeks up our fly real nice. Cut your extra out of there. Wrap it a bunch, and now you're gonna finish your fly however you finish your fly. I'm just gonna do a quick knot and then freaking cover it in glue. So these are really high quality super glue. Loctite brush on is definitely my favorite. So that's what I'm gonna use here. Sorry, I might have gone out of focus. I kind of tilted my fly down into the glue and it'll all cement up and you are done. That is a nice looking summer Spey fly for some trout. It's gonna ride real nice in the riffles. If you want it deeper, you can add bigger lead dumbbell eyes. If you want it shallower, you can use brass eyes or you can use no eyes. I don't like how they look with no eyes, but you can totally do that. So thanks for watching, and I'll throw some footage in here of it in the fly tester and maybe some fish that I've caught on it, and yeah, I appreciate it.